So today I'm going to start our inventory organization in our SCM. So this is our today's topic: inventory organization, item master inventory organization, how to create the facility shift, facility work, facility schedule, and at the end, right. So let's start with our first topic. This is inventory organization. So this is our enterprise structure where the top level enterprise capture the name of deploying enterprise and the location of the headquarter. We have the division. So you can create the division as per your client requirement. For example, we have the Tata Group. Suppose we have the two division. First is Tata Steel and another one is Tata Motors. We already seen in our enterprise section how to create the divisions, right? But this is an option, so you can may create or may not be create as per your client requirement, right? This is division. And next one is primary ledger. So before creating a primary ledger, we have to create the 3C. You already knows the accounting calendar, currency, chart of account. So all three C's map with the primary ledger so that transaction in our application. We have the legal entity. So after we have defined the legal entity and the legal reporting units of the business activity, and we have to map the legal entity to our primary ledger, right? We have the business unit, and after all the setups from top level of enterprise to the business unit in our previous session, right? In our enterprise session, right? So this is the enterprise structure of Oracle Fusion application. So at the last, you can see this inventory organization. So our today's topic is inventory organization. So inventory refers to all the items, goods, merchandise, and the materials held by a business for selling in the market to earn a profit. For example, if a newspaper vendor use a vehicle to deliver the newspaper to the customer, only the newspaper will be considered as an inventory and the vehicle is considered as an asset. So the definition of the inventory changes, or we can say that the definition of inventory may vary or may not be very depending upon the industry type, right? So now in the case of the manufacturing business, but the inventory in front of all the raw in the form of all the raw material used in the production, or also inventories in the form of the semi-good semi-finished enterprise that used to store the definition of item or the store and the transact item, right? A physical entity such as manufacturing warehouse or a distribution center, and a logging entry such as the item master organization, which we use to define the inventory item, right? Organization. In this inventory organization, we have some more attributes. So we have the inventory location, primary ledger, costing organization attribute in our application, right? So you can see we have the company. So in this company, the inventory organization use the item, and the inventory management is associated with one business unit, one legal entity, and one primary ledger, right? We have the warehouse. The primary function of warehouse is to store the stock of product, to store the stock of items, right? We have the distribution center, the distribution, right? For the distribution purpose, we store the items, finished goods and items in the distribution center. And we have the item master organization. So the item master organization is defining the item in our item master organization, right? Let's move to our next slide. Types of inventory. So in our application, we have the different types of inventory like raw material inventory, work in progress, finished good, MRO inventory, buffer inventory, cycle inventory, decoupling inventory, and the transit company inventory, right? So we have the different type of inventory in our application, right? So start from the we have some description about like so a raw material is a consist of all the items that are processed to make the final product. For an example, we consider a cookie manufacturing company. So the raw material in the cookie manufacturing company, the item like milk, sugar, flavor that are used in the different stages of the production. So when we talk about the raw material, it is essential to understand the raw material used by the manufacturing company can either be a source from a supplier byproduct of a process in our cookies manufacturing company. So the raw material will be mostly sourced from the various supplier where you can see that the many supplier, right? Now the concept of raw material as the inventory item exists only in the manufacturing industry, and the case of the training in case of the trading industry, there is no processing or manufacturing involved, so there is no raw material, right? So we don't have the raw materials inventory in the trading industries, right? Let's take the one example of work in progress. So work in progress inventory, so when we raw material has been sent for the process but have not yet been as a finished good, this stage is known as work in progress. So for example, cookies manufacturing company, after the raw material have been processed and the cookies has been modeled, they go for the quality check, and before they are passed for a final packing, all the cookies which are waiting for our quality check are considered as in the work in progress. You can say that the simple words that the work in progress category consists of all the items that have been processed but not for the sales is known as work in progress. We have the finished goods. So the finished goods are the final item that are ready for the sales in the market. So these goods has been passed through all the stages of the production or the quality checking. So for all the cookies manufacturer, so for the cookies manufacturing, the final product, the final packet of the cookies that are sent to the market for the selling. And after understanding the undergoing the quality checking will be called as the final goods. And we have the MRO inventory. So the MRO is nothing but a maintenance, repairing, and the opening supplier. Okay. So this is the type of inventory is mostly relevant to the manufacturing industries. MRO items are not accounted as inventory, right? The MRO inventory is not accounted as an inventory item like in the books of the accounts. However, they play a crucial role to day working in the operations. How the MRO supplier are used for maintenance supplier and upkeeping of the machines tools and of the process. So some example of the MRO items like lubricants, coolant, and we have the uniform, the gloves, nuts, bolts, screws. So that are the inventory of MRO inventory. Like In the same way, we have the buffer decoupling inventory and the transit inventory. So as per your requirement, we can use the types of inventory in our organization, right? Now we have the inventory organization transact the item, and the inventory organization can have one and more sub inventories, right? So sub inventories are unique physical or its inventory, you can say, right? So in the inventory or in the Oracle inventory, all the material within an organization is held in the sub inventory, right? We must define as well as we can restrict the items to specific sub inventories, right? And in inventory organization, sub inventories may be made up of one and more locators. So we can use the locators to identify the physical area where we store the inventory items so that we can track the item locator and we can run inventory organization. And the locator further divided into the raw, rack, and bin to identify the items were exactly located in our inventory, right? So we have the inventory organization structure diagram. So this is our inventory organization. You can see here where we store the item and we transact the item, right? This inventory organization can have finished goods sub inventory and defective goods sub inventory. You can maintain the sub inventories in our inventory organization, right? And under these sub inventories, we have the locators. We use the locator to identify the physical area at which area in the inventory the items are placed, right? The items are kept. And under the locator, we define the row so that we identify which row the item plays. Under the row, we define the recs. You can see we have the recs. And under the recs, we define the bin to identify the items where the exactly located in the inventory, right? So the inventory organization have integration with the module, the other module, right? So we can see all the modules are connected with the inventory organization. You can see over here the order management, the Oracle purchasing, cost management, all the modules are connected with the inventory organization so that we can perform the inventory related tasks. Suppose if we don't have the goods in our inventories, so we perform the procurement related tasks. So we have to create a purchase order in our procurement application, right? And if your items placed in our inventory organization, and if you want to sell this item, so our order management can help the order related setups, like we can create the sales order, right? And we have the cost management, how to inventory management, how the inventory organization, costing, right? We can manage, right? And the manufacturing, how to create the items in our organization, maintain in the manufacturing application, right? Logistic and the product lifecycle management. We have some more financial related module. You can see in our next slide. You can see we have the payables application, receivable application, cash management, fixed asset, all the information you can save in your general ledger so that you can create your uh, your monthly reports, weekly reports, so that the higher authority of your organization can take the decision easily, right? So this is all about our inventory organization. Let's move to our next topic, that is item master inventory organization, right? So in the inventory organization, we store the inventory item and we can transit the inventory item. So let's take one scenario, the Tata Motor organization, right? So this organization have two inventory organization. One is commercial vehicle and second one is passenger car. And further inventory organization divided into the sub inventory. So we define the commercial vehicle, name is the commercial vehicle inventory organization, and maybe you can even give the same name for the two different items, right? So how we differentiate the distinguish it from other? So to avoid this item duplicacy, item master organization features come to the picture. You can save we can save the item information into the item master so that we can fetch the information from the item master. And if you save the information in our local inventory organization, and you can send the item from one inventory, so to reduce and to avoid the duplicacy of the item in our application, so that the application, the Oracle gives a idea, the good feature was splendid feature of item master, so that you can save the item related information in our item master organization, and you can fetch the item details in different inventory organization, right? So item master organization. An item master organization contains a list of item, and you can describe the item so that we share across the several child inventory organization. So you can define the item in the item master organization, right? The structure of the item master organization does not have the dependency on the business unit or the legal entity. This is the best feature of the Oracle, right? Your item master organization does not depends on the any legal entity or the business unit. You can fetch the information from the item master to the different business unit, right? Because the item master organization is a virtual inventory organization and it is does not a physical inventory. You can only create the item in the item master and assign organization contain the master record data of the item. This is the master record, right? Item master organization contains the items master data, right? And we have the child inventory organization, so where we store the item and we transact the item to the warehouse and the distribution center, and the item organization can have one and more sub inventories. The structure of the child inventory organization, or simply we can say the inventory organization in the application that requires the business unit and the legal entity, because the inventory organization or a technical difference between the item master organization and other organization, right? And other recommended you to do not define the multiple items under the item master, right? We define the multiple item master, right? It creates confusion for the item definition and the maintenance, because multiple item masters are distinct entities with no relationship to each other, right? So you cannot associate item in one item master organization with the other item master organization, and you cannot copy the item across the item master organization, right? So as per the client requirement, we create one inventory organization. It means client wants to implement 10 inventory organization, then we create 10 plus 1, that inventory organization. The 11th one is our item master organization, where the items are saved. The item related informations are kept, right? So let's move to our application and we'll see how to create the item master organization in our application, right? So this is our application and this is our implementation user, that is data. We have already created in our previous session, right? So I'm going with this user and I'm defining the item master organization under this data implementation user. So go to the setup and maintenance, click on setup and maintenance, click on this task list, click on this manage project, right? So we have our own implementation project, that is data implementation project new organization, manage item organization, search with the product management, because all the item related information kept under the product management, right? So we have the item organization, click on this go to task, right? So we have the option, click on this create icon, right? So are you creating the new one? So go with this option, and if you are going with the existing organization, you can select this one, right? So I'm going to create new one, so click on this name and we have to define the name of this organization, that is Tata Item Master, right? Tata Item Master Organization. Let's define the organization name, that is Tata underscore item and underscore master, right? So this is the name of our organization and the usage is item management, right? So you can see over here, this is our item organization and this one is a virtual organization. So we don't need of any business unit and the legal entity. You can see there is no any mandatory field here. So we can go with the no business unit and with any, right? This is our item master and the right, and let's click on this save and close. Search with our inventory organization. You can see our item master gets created over here with the name of item master. If you want to edit the code, and click on this edit icon, and either you can click on this manage organization parameter, right? So you can change with the item master item management to the inventory management, right? And if you want to define your business unit, legal entity, and primary ledger, you can define over here, right? And click on this next, and you can change also over here. Let's cancel out. Done. Now let's move over slide, right? We have in another inventory organization, we have the facility shift, facility workday pattern, and facility schedule, right? So when we create inventory organization, or you can say the child inventory organization, we have to define the schedule, right? In manufacturing application, what are the shift we have? The day shift, a night shift, shift 1, shift 2, shift 3, and what are the working hours we have? Working day and non-working day, right? So all the information required in manufacturing application and other application in SCM. So all those applications are tightly connected with the inventory application. This manufacturing application, and you can say the warehouse application, all the application tightly connected with the inventory organization. So that communication takes place between those application. So calendar needs to be maintained in inventory application. We have to maintain the calendar, manufacturing calendar, right? So in manufacturing, we have to define the manufacturing calendar, right? And we define the schedule required. When we define the schedule, so a schedule required the workday pattern. So before creating the schedule, we have to define the workday pattern. Same as when we define the workday pattern, the shift will be required. So the Oracle Fusion SCM, we may create or may not be create the manufacturing unit. We have to define the calendar in our application, right? So in under the inventory organization, we have the must create the schedule, right? So when we create the schedule, so first we create the shift, right? Then we create, then we work pattern, and then schedule. Because schedule is required, we can say that a schedule is mandatory field under the creating in the inventory organization. We can see in our application. After that, we will create the facility shift, workday pattern, and the schedule, right? So the schedule is mandatory field. So let's move to our application. And first, like this is, we have the inventory. Let's see the options of schedule while creating the child inventory, where you can see the physical inventory, sorry, inventory organization, right? So this is a manage inventory organization. Click on this go to task. Let's click on blank search. Let's select any one of them and click on this edit icon. Right, and you can see this is our inventory name, and the business unit location is also a mandatory field because this inventory organization is a physical inventory. You can see the schedule. The schedule is mandatory field, right? This is I'm talking about the schedule, right? So before creating any inventory organization, or you can say any child inventory organization in your application, the schedule is a mandatory field. We have to define the schedule before creating the child inventory, right? So cancel out, done. Right. So we have to search task is we have the inventory organization. Let's search facility shift, right? So under the product management, right? So first we have to define our shift. After that we have to define our workday pattern, and at the last we can create, with the help of shift and the workday pattern, we can create the schedule, and you can take this schedule in our child inventory. While creating the child inventory, you can take the information of the schedule. Let's click on this go to task. So click on this create icon, right? So we have, you can see over here, we have the time, duration, and elapsed, right? So go with the time, right? Now made to define the start time in our time. And what are the duration, like 9 hours? So we have to define the hours, right? We have the category. Let's define category work from office. We have the option also. We have the work from home option, right? And the shift detail type. What is the shift detail type? So it's not a flexible, it's not a punch. Suppose we have a machine, right? So this is our data. You can see we can create the shift in this way, right? And if you want to edit this information, so click on this name, and you can edit the information of this time shift, right? Let's cancel out. And if you want to delete this, select the record and click on this delete icon. So here is our data. This is data modus. Click done. Let's go with the second one, that is a pattern workday pattern, right? So this is manage facility workday pattern. Click on this go to task. So this shift is used in this workday pattern. So how can it's possible? Let's click on this create icon. Right. We have to define the name of this workday pattern. Like I'm going to enter the Tata motor. Right. You can give the same description over here. Right. And the length in the days, how many length in the days? We have these 7. Right. And we have to add the pattern. So click on this create icon. Right. So start from first till 7. The 7 is the end date of this workday pattern, right? And we have to define our shift. We have created earlier. We have to select from the drop down. So let's go to search and select our shift. Search Tata. Right. So this is all the shift related information. Right. So this is shift related information and this is our workday pattern related information, right? So click on save and close. Right. Let's search. You can see this is our Tata. Right. If you want to edit the information of this workday pattern, so click on this name and you can edit the record of this workday pattern, right? And in the same way, you can delete the record of this workday pattern, right? So click done. Now the last one is schedule. So we have the task name is manage facility schedule. Click on this go to task. Right. Click on this create icon. Now let's enter the name of this schedule like Tata Motors schedule. Copy this one. Let's put into the description and you can select the category, but this is not a mandatory field. You can select as per your requirement, like this is a work, it's not a paper, right? Pager, sorry, it's not a pager. And you can select the effective to date, right? So this schedule is working within this time period, right? So you can see, and we have the quarterly types for your requirement, right? And the first day of this week is Monday. You can change as per your requirement, right? Now we have to select our workday pattern, and if you have any schedule exception, you can select over here. Right. Sequence is 1. Let's select our pattern. Now select the record, click on OK. Right. So this is our workday pattern information. Click on save and close. Right. So this is our schedule. Right. You can edit this information. You can delete the record by delete icon. Right. Click done. Right. Done. Now our today's last topic is child inventory organization. Right. Child inventory organization is inventory, as we know that we can store and transact the item, and we have one and more sub inventory. We can create more than one sub inventory, like, and an organization structure that requires the business unit and the legal entity. You can see while we create the item master organization, we don't need to take we don't need to take the legal entity and the business unit relation information related information in our item master, but while creating the child inventory organization, we have to select the business unit and the legal entity also, right? So let's move to the instance, go to our project. So actual inventory or a physical inventory is all are same, right? So before creating a physical inventory, we have to create a location, right? Physical location is required. So first we will create a physical location. So let's search for that. Right. Go with the financial. Right. Click on this create. Location set is common set, and you can also define the start date for this location. Let's enter the location information. So I'm going to enter Tata Motors. INV is inventory organization address, so that we can easily identify. Let's copy it. Give the same name in the code, and let's define the description over here, right? And you can attach, then we have the address line first. It is mandatory. It's Tata Motors. Select the zip code so that all the information fetch from the zip code. Select the record, click OK. Right. The city, state, and the county information fetch automatically. Right. Click on this submit. Right. Yes. right, hit OK. And now let's search. The task name is manage inventory organization, right. Go with the product management, right. We have the task name, right. Click on this create icon. In the same way, we have two options. Either you can create with a new one, and you can select an existing organization, right. So I'm going to create new one. So let's insert the information. Let's define data underscore ny, New York inventory organization, right. And let's see underscore org, right. And the business unit and legal entity is the mandatory field because this inventory organization is a physical inventory. This inventory maintain the stock, store the stock, maintain the records of it, maintain the records, and it maintain the items, the goods and items in our inventory. Select our business unit we have already created in our application. Search for that. This is startup business unit. Click OK. Right. And based on the information of business unit, the primary ledger information comes over here, right. The information of primary ledger help of this business unit because both are map, right. The business unit map with the primary ledger. Let's select the legal entity we have already created and the information of legal entity, this one Tata legal entity, right. And you can define the profit business unit also over here, and we have the status option active, inactive, and this is our business unit information, the business unit address. This business unit address map with this business unit, so you can go with this one, and either you can select or our inventory address. So let's select our inventory address, search for that. We have the Tata Motors inventory organization. We can identify easily. Click OK. Right. This is our location address. Click on next. Right. Item master organization we have created earlier. So this is our item master, Tata item master organization. And the item grouping behavior is reference, right. So we create item create in the item master with the reference this, we use the item in this child inventory organization, right. So this child inventory or this child inventory organization is reference to the item master, this item master, so that we can suppose whenever we create the item, save the item information under the item master organization, so the reference of this item master get the information under this child inventory, right. So we have to select the reference information so that we can reference the item information from the item master. When we select the definition, so the item relation related information we can define on the child inventory level. So it will give the duplication of the item information, right? So go with the reference, right? The item master and the starting revision is 0, and this is our schedule. So let's select our schedule. So we have the data, search for that. Okay, zone you can change over here the locator control. There is no locator control. In our upcoming session we'll see what are the rules of the locator control and how it used in our inventory organization. In the same way we have the movement request, and we have the different option, and we have the option as a organization is a manufacturing plant. If you want to convert, and if you want to select this inventory organization as a manufacturing plant, so we have to click on this checkbox, right? And we can define our supply information, supplier site, customer name, account number. We have the different information, additional information uses can define over here. On the next step we have the load, serial number and packing unit, and we can define the lot control, lot generation, and child lot control, serial number generation, how we can create the serial number generation in our application uniquely. We have the different option, uniquely with the model, unique within the organization, unique within the inventory item. We have the different serial number generation under this lot generation, right? And we have the packing unit generation, how we create the packing information, packing unit, like this is our sample of this prefix, right? What are the starting packing unit, what are the suffix, right? So we have the lot number related information of here, and we have the item sourcing details. Right, under the item sourcing detail we have the picking default, pick information, pick rule. What are the pick rule we have defined in our inventory organization, and we have the sub inventory order, located order, right? Item sourcing detail, what are the types we have, the sourcing from where we are going to take the item, right? The sourcing, the organization, sub inventory, right? And like, we don't have, when we select this one, the additional information gets fetched, right? And we have the financial information, business unit, primary ledger, legal entity, right? So click on this save and close. Now let's check the records. So this is our inventory organization. This is real inventory. This is a child inventory. You can say the physical inventory, right? And if you want to edit this one, so click on this edit icon, and we have click on, and one more option we have. You can select the record and click on this manage organization parameter. So you can land it on this page, right? Right. Done. Done. Right. created the right. So in today's session, we have covered the inventory organization, what are the types of inventory and all that, what are the item master inventory organization, how we create in our application, what are the facility shift, facility workday pattern, facility schedule, and at the end we covered the child inventory organization in our application, right? So this is all over our today's agenda, today's session. And in our upcoming session, we will see what are the items, how we create the item, and how to load the items using the templates, right? So thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you so much.